So first off, what we're going to do is we're going to mark where we want our radius to be. We're going to put it in our bender. And we're going to bend it past 180 degrees. Because the steel will want to spring back a little bit. So we got to get it to the point where it's about 90. That's about right. And then you got to twist it a little bit sometimes if you didn't pay attention to how you were bending to keep everything on a flat plane. There's that one. Okay, so now I got two that are pretty close. I actually want the radius to be a little bit more open than 90 degrees because I want it to kind of be a triangle, not just standing straight up. If it's standing straight up, the only issue with that is that it might get a little top heavy. So I'm gonna widen them out just a hair until we've got two that are identical. This one's got to come out just a little bit more. And we can tie them in to make them identical once I put the cross members on there. So now that we got two identical, I know that the table that I'm going to be setting this on is about 16 inches. And so I'm going to put feet at the bottom. And I'm going to measure that in about an inch or so because of the feet. I need to account for that and the tubing. So I'm going to go 15 inches on the crossbars. And I'm going to need 4 of these. So if you have a workbench, one thing you can do that's helpful is use something as a backstop and then mark your 15-inch spot on the work table and take your rod over to that. That one's at 15. So another tip that you do, so this looks like it might be almost on center, but you don't know what side you're keeping. So I always draw a line on the side that I'm cutting. That also helps with accuracy for the cut. So I'm going to have 2 racks or 2 rows of tires on this rack. And then from the drop side, I'm going to cut the cross members that will go in the rack. So I'll show you that in a second. All right, so let's get some of this stuff cut real quick. Okay, so now we got most of our cutting done. The next thing to cut are to cut these to the same length, which should be fairly straightforward. The closer you get them, the happier you're going to be. Just trying to line, line all these up close as possible. And we're just going to start cutting, and then when we get closer, we're going to be able to clamp them together and check out how close we actually are. So let's get these cut down. Bingo. Now we got 2 hoops. Now what we're going to do is we are going to measure up from the base. A couple different ways. This is for the crossbar. It'll go in like this. A way I like to do it so that we know that we are even is sometimes what I'll do, you know what, I might just go like so and line it up on the table because I can see that the front side of this is a little short. That's okay because we'll just grind it down a little bit. So I guess what we'll do is we'll pick the short side. We'll measure off of that. So what I like to do sometimes, just so that everything is pretty close to even, is I'll take like a straight edge and rock that over. And that'll tell me where my crossbar goes. Alright, so the next thing is I want the big tires to be at the bottom. And the smaller tires to be up top. So let's see where I can. So one way you could measure this is you could measure off the very top middle part and down to the bottom, which is probably what I'll end up doing. We'll get fairly close doing that. So I'll make one mark of where I want to go. I got about 10.5 that way. About 10.5 that way. These don't have to be perfect because you want them to visually be level, but they don't have to be absolutely perfect because the tires will soak up a lot of it. So, okay, so first what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my piece in between here and tack that in. And then once that's in, I'll do the same on this other one. We'll have 2 mirrored pieces, and then I'll be able to do my crossbars. All right, so bring my stinger over. I'm gonna get, so first welds in the morning. Tip, if you're running MIG, is you hit it and let it run for a second, because that gets the gas in the lines, because normally we turn our gas off at night. So if we get our gas in the line, we should be good to go. Wind it up. Sounds good to me. Boom. Let's see if I can change this camera angle so you guys can actually see what I'm doing. So this is a flex ramp that I had that I made laying around. Took my 1, 2, 3 block, threw it down to make sure that I'm getting pretty close to 90. Now I'm going to tack this in place. That was hideous because my hand got pushed onto the trigger. That's what happens in life. Sometimes you just got to go with it. Okay, so now that's going to go there. Fit nicely. So let's put this one somewhere in this area. Like so. Sounds like my gas is not coming out as well as I want to. So when you get that kind of fizzy sound, that means your gas isn't coming out great. So one thing that could be a problem is your tip is dirty, not letting gas flow. So we just clean that out. Should be better. Alright. Now I'm going to mark this. There and right there. So that I can bring this over and transfer it to the right spot. Looks good. Let's tap this in. All right, now we can flip this over and try to match this. I'm just going to go visually, and this will be a nice pressure fit because if you don't do it perfectly at a 90, you can run into that. We're pretty close. Okay, and one more, and we should be good to go on our tire rack. Flip this around so I can look at it. There we go. Got a little gangster lean to it. That's okay. Still works. Now we have an awesome tire rack going all the way across. All right, I'm gonna burn this in. We're gonna call it good.
That's a wrap. Another Weld Wednesday in the books. If you guys have any ideas or anything you'd have questions about, leave a comment. Ideas wise, like if you have something you'd like to see built or a how-to build it, let me know. I really am interested in doing more of these. It's a lot of fun. They're quick, easy. I think we might do a flex ramp next time or some kind of a welding ground. But I hope you enjoyed it, and please don't forget to come back and tell your friends, and we'll see you on the next one. Keep on burning.